What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as some of you all may know me, and this is our Zelda mailbag, where we talk about not just Zelda, so we need to think of a new name for that, I guess. But
we forfeit the old name for it, so...
Yeah, so today we have a very special guest with us, Pelvic Gaming. Lady Pelvic, go ahead and introduce yourself for those who may not know who you are.
Hi guys, I'm Lady Pelvic of Pelvic Gaming. I have a YouTube channel called Pelvic Gaming, and I do a lot of reviews on JRPGs, RPGs, platformers. I do top 5 videos. I do convention vlogs as well when I go to anime conventions, video game conventions, cosplays. And then I have a Let's Play channel, Pelvic Plays. Currently we're playing Danganronpa, so that's exciting.
Which one?
You can find me on... we're playing the first one.
Okay.
The very first one. I haven't played... This is my first time playing. Although I've seen the anime. Me and my friend are playing it. My friend hasn't seen it and knows anything about it, so I already know
crazy
some
killer
spoilers
teddy
things.
bear.
But I saw the anime a while ago, so it's kind of new to me.
Are you wearing
I love
your
Monokuma.
shirt?
I do. Gosh, she's so crazy.
Yeah, she's wearing the Pelvic Gaming shirt. And if
Very
do you have that for sale if other people are interested in buying one?
I don't. Not yet. Not
No.
yet. Not yet. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I do feel pretty official wearing it, though, I gotta say. I'm like,
Nice.
how's it going? But you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can look up Pelvic Gaming or Lady Pelvic. They're intertwined in there. I promise you'll find me.
And
Just Google it.
do you have your own Discord?
No, I don't.
No,
yet.
you
Everyone
need to
says
start
I should get a
one.
Discord. Everyone says I should start a Discord.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
We have
Just come join ours.
Yeah,
Join us.
we have a little over 900 people
Okay.
now in our Discord, so I'm excited about that. I'm hoping it'll get verified if we ever reach 1,000. So
You can get verified on Discord. I'm new to Discord.
yeah, like it used to be a lot easier because I know people who have YouTube channels that are smaller than mine and get less views than mine that are verified on Discord, and they only have like 100 or 200 people on theirs. But whenever Discord first started, they verified a lot of people a lot easier than it is now. So now I guess it's really hard because it's like I look at all these people that my Discord is more active than theirs, and my YouTube channel is a little bit bigger than theirs, but they're verified and I'm not, and I'm just like, what does it take? Yeah. So I'm hoping if I ever cross 1,000, they'll be like, well, this person's doing, like, he's bringing enough people on Discord that we should verify him. But the cool thing is, I don't want to be verified for the checkmark thingy or whatever they do. I want to be verified to get the jacket, because they send like the owners of the Discord get sent like cool Discord jackets, and that's what I want. So
priorities. This is what it's really about. It's really about clothing. It's about fashion.
Exactly. So,
but mostly, if you want to join our Discord, it's because you can actually talk to us.
Oh yes, yes. There are a lot of people who start their Discord and they're not active at it at all. Like, they have it so their fans can join and talk to each other, but then they'll come in like once a week. But Daniel and I are in our Discord almost every single day. So
yeah, I pretty much, although I'm not necessarily posting every day, I'm there. I pretty much, because I can't stand having notifications on my phone, so I pretty much go through and read everything every day. But I don't always talk a lot, so I'm like, it like ranks who posts the most, and you can check that, and like I'm number 40. I'm one of the owners on this thing, and I'm like way down.
Yeah.
But it's a good time. We have a lot of fun there, and
there's a lot of cool people as well.
Okay.
Some of these questions come from Discord as well. We have one from YouTube. I didn't really go through and check a lot of the other YouTube comments because there were so many, it's hard to find the ones that are just the questions. But if you would like your question to be featured on the next mailbag and have your name receive a shout out, you can leave your questions in the comments below. And also go over, check out Pelvic Gaming, check out her channel, her Let's Plays and stuff. Join our Discord. If she ever starts a Discord, join it as well. If you join our Discord, we have a section there where you can also leave questions for the mailbag, which is where most of these came from. And if we get too many questions, we go to Patreon and grab questions from Patreon. So if you would like to have your question guaranteed to be on the show, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can support and get a lot of other cool things as well. Do you have a Patreon for your YouTube channel, Pelvic?
No, I don't.
No, you should.
I need to like do stuff with my life.
Yes.
Everyone's like, you need to do this. I'm like, I'll do it eventually, I promise.
No pressure though.
I know. I'm
Alright. Our first question comes from the champion of Morrowind. Says, here's the question. Would you like a multiplayer four-sword Zelda game on Switch? So the last multiplayer Zelda game that they had was Triforce Heroes on the 3DS, which Daniel and I have been saying we're going to play soon, but for some reason haven't got to it.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
You're not missing out on much, I'm not gonna lie.
It's like instead of saving
why
the
do you
world.
have that poster behind you?
Yeah, so basically, like, the moon isn't crashing on the world, destroying it. Ganon and Demise hasn't taken over.
It's like one of my least favorites.
Yeah, it's like the princess is cursed to like wear bad clothes. So
yes, a sack of potatoes.
yeah,
Very low stakes.
like so the story might not have been that great. It was probably more of an inside joke with the studio than anything. They probably just went with something they thought was funny instead of serious.
Yeah.
So, like, if they had a real story, like Majora's Mask or Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, and like the fact that the story in Triforce Heroes is so weird is weird itself, because again, like, Miyamoto always talks about how he focuses on story last. So, but it's like this entire game was developed with that story in mind, because to change your weapons and abilities, you put on different outfits. So, like, the gameplay itself is designed into the story, so it seems like they just had an inside joke and made an entire game from it. So, if they changed the story, or even went back to the Four Swords Adventures type stories and released something like that for the Nintendo Switch, I would really like it. Like, if you could hop into Breath of the Wild and play along someone else, that would be really cool.
That would be.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on this? Starting with you, Pelvic. Multiplayer Zelda on Switch. Real Zelda, not Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
So, like a real Zelda game.
No. Oh, I would absolutely be about it. Are you kidding me? Like, to show off my smooth Zelda skills, you know, in front of everyone? Be like, haha, who's the best Zelda player now? Probably not me, but I'll pretend like I am. I would be about it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I really don't see an issue with it. But would it be like Four Swords style, or would it be like Breath of the Wild, where it's almost like an MMO kind of?
Well, there was an interview that I always go back to whenever they were promoting Breath of the Wild when it first released. Aonuma said that he would like to take what he learned from Triforce Heroes and do something like that with the Breath of the Wild engine. So with him saying that, I assume it would be something like Breath of the Wild. I don't imagine it being a top-down game, but it could be. Who knows? Like, just because it's in the same engine doesn't mean it's going to look the same. Like, if you look at Unreal Engine 4, there's dozens of different genres of games made out of it. Like, there's really cartoony games. You can see the fan remake of, like, Ocarina of Time that a lot of people work on. Like, a Batman Arkham series is made out of Unreal Engine. There's racing games made out of Unreal Engine. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with Unreal Engine. So just because they use the Breath of the Wild engine doesn't mean that it's going to look the same. So, yeah.
That's true.
But
I would be about it.
Yeah.
I would like a few things done differently, like Triforce Heroes. I would like some better communication, and I feel I don't like the fact that it was like really heavily. It was grindy, one, which I didn't like for a Zelda game. You know, you wanted to constantly grind to get certain items so you can get certain outfits, which kind of bothered me. I was like, I don't like grindy in my Zelda games. And then I guess being very dependent on 3 players, because like when one player left, you had to cancel out the game. You know, like the whole game just shut it down. You know, you got like sympathy rupees, and that was it. And that kind of irritated me too. So if you had a bad connection, it wasn't like Monster Hunter where it was like it just kept going. You know, once you lose someone, the whole game cut it off, and that just was like
yeah,
a little bit infuriating.
So like I think it would be
if they can
best
somehow fix that, then I would really.
Yeah, it would be best if they made it like a single player game first and then multiplayer as an option instead of being made from the ground up with multiplayer in mind. So just have it like a typical Zelda game with a typical Zelda story, the dungeons and everything, but have someone like just give them the option to join in and play. I always use the example in Breath of the Wild, you have Wolf Link as your companion. You tap in the amiibo and he just pops in. But the AI is controlling him. But it would be very similar to what I want would be very similar to that, to where if you're playing Breath of the Wild and someone picks up a second controller and they turn it on, they pop in, they're playing as Wolf Link or a different character. Like the AI is already controlling Wolf Link, so what's the difference of AI controlling your partner as opposed to a second player? So that's the way I look at it. Like whether you're playing as whether you're playing with Wolf Link or without him, nothing really changes. Like it might get a little bit easier. It could be more fun running around with the second player, but the story itself, nothing changes. Like you're not limited to anything. Like there's a lot of puzzles in the multiplayer Zelda games to where it relies on one person doing one thing and another person doing another thing, like 2 people standing on a switch at the same time or something like that. So yeah, like it would be really cool. Even in like Wind Waker, whenever you had to carry around some of the side characters, like the I forgot her name. Yeah, the Rito person you had to carry around. Ocarina of Time has you carry around Princess Ruto, and it's like instead of carrying them around, if someone could have just picked up a second controller and walked around as that character, it would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah, like Cafe.
Yeah. So
I agree.
Yeah,
that's how I would want it. But what about you, Daniel?
I would want it to be a character that is like comparable to Link. That is not necessarily Link, but a character that controls the same way.
So like one of the champions, maybe.
Maybe. Oh, maybe. You know, I love my champions.
Yeah.
But
like if they controlled
even just like a traveler or something, right? Because if you have a character who's like super different than Link, then it's like who's gonna get the shaft? Who gets to be Link, and who has to be the whatever character, right?
Yeah. Well, I look at it as like if you played as a Goron, or like if you just use the champions in Breath of the Wild as an example, but they had similar attacks to what they did in Majora's Mask. So when you play as a Goron, he's essentially playing the same as Darunia was it Darunia? What was his name in Majora's Mask?
Darmani.
Oh god.
Darmani. Yeah.
Darmani.
Yeah. So
Darmani.
Like his punches were essentially like using a hammer, so you could like bust rocks, I believe. The Zora's main attack was basically the same as the boomerang, so there was a lot of stuff that was very similar. So it's like if you get into a fight with an enemy, or like you have to capture an item if someone's playing as Zora, then it's like if you don't have a boomerang, you can just have him do it, or if you do have a boomerang, then either of you could do it. So there's a lot of similarities with the weapons, but that's just my thoughts. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No worries. I just like thinking back on, and we talked about this I think with Nate as well, with Mario Odyssey, for example. You can have a second player jump in and play as Cappy, right? And that's garbage. That's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not.
You said it's
so
garbage?
I don't want a similar experience in like, yes, it's not fun. It is not fun at all, because with Cappy, if you have a second player, he's going to be zooming around as Cappy, and every time he goes in front of Mario bounces off him, and you are sort of, because Cappy's sort of a companion piece to Mario, you're limited in what you can do. So without having control of Cappy as well. But that's kind of a separate, like a side issue with that setup specifically. But if you have a Zelda game where you have multiplayer, I'd want them to both be either two Links, like in Four Swords or Triforce Hero, or two comparable characters, like someone who is like Link enough that he controls the same way, just so that both players can have the same experience and not be the second player not be limited to what they can do when they're playing. I say this as someone who is eternally the younger sibling, and so like forever the Luigi, so
forever the Luigi.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm coming from. I have 3 older brothers, so I was always player 2. You know what I mean? So,
I guess I understand.
Yeah.
I was the oldest, so I was always player 1.
Yeah. So I just think it would be better if, or not necessarily better, but it would be a good experience to have them as like controlling the same way and have the same abilities. Unless it's like, if the game is not built around them having different abilities, then one person is just kind of a half character, almost, so just a thought. Unless you have a wide range of characters and you can switch between like the 5 of them like on the fly all the time, then that would be really cool. So there's a couple different ways they could approach it. But yeah, I'd be down for multiplayer Zelda as well on Switch. The only thing is they better figure out how to do voice chat, please. Just like,
wait, you don't like their you don't like that huge connection thing where you have to buy like a separate accessory piece, and you're not a fan of that? That's not like the coolest idea ever? Are you sure? You don't absolutely love all these connections and cords?
No. If you're gonna do it, please fix it, please.
That was so weird. Like, the GameCube already had 4 controller ports, so it's like, why are you making people buy 4 Game Boy Advances just to play this game? Like,
there's that too. Yeah, the Four Swords Adventures, where I bought it and I was like psyched to play it with my friend, and then I couldn't.
Yeah. It's like if you go back to when that game first came out, you needed like $1,000 worth of equipment just to play it.
Right.
Because
so I just played it one player.
The GameCube was like $200 or $300. The game itself was like $30 or $40. The Game Boy Advances were all like $200 each. So it's like you need like $1,000 just to play this game.
Yeah. Which nope. So yeah, but like also like the Nintendo app is kind of where I was going with that before. It was like, it's like at this point it would be fine because we could use it's either local or we could use something like Discord or some other social media platform to do it. But it would be nice if they just had a built-in voice chat that was functional to do a multiplayer game like this. That would be nice.
All right. You can pick our next question, Lady Pelvic. So just look at the short list there and pick whatever question you would like to have next.
I do kind of like this one. I just think this is like, what the heck is happening right now? Is this Ilya Rose or Leah Rose?
Ilya Rose, I believe.
Ilya? Okay, Ilya. Ilya Rose. If you had to choose which theory is worse, the theory that Link and Zelda from Ocarina of Time are siblings, or the theory that Ganon is Link's father? Ugh.
I guess people really like it when we talk about dumb theories.
Yeah, one of our most popular.
I think by.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say one of our most popular podcast segments was when we had someone. I think someone asked the question, "What
was the dumbest Zelda theory?"
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun answering that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I don't like the idea that Link and Zelda from Ocarina of Time are siblings. I think that's awful, just because to me, like, I ship them so hard. So to find out they're brother and sister, I'm kind of like, why? Why?
There's a lot of fan art that just got weirder.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's like the thing is this, like, okay, for example, so no one calls me out on my double standards later. I don't know if you guys are Game of Thrones here. Like, Cersei and Jaime are fine because it was established that this is their thing, and I'm like, okay, you guys are weird, no problem. They're incestual brother and sister, fine. It was like established, but like because like freaking Zelda and Link, you know, they're not siblings. They're from two presumed families. I mean, it's really obscure.
I could see why.
Link's parents are super obscure.
Yeah, like I could see maybe
frankly, I mean, you just have like the King of the Red Lion.
Yeah, like I could see possibly why someone would think that theory is true. Like, because I don't think it mentions Zelda or Link's father. Like, it mentions his mother giving him up for adoption or whatever to the Deku Tree. Bad parenting, by the way. Don't let a tree babysit your kid. But and then with
turned out all right.
Yeah. And then with Zelda, like, it doesn't mention her mom, but it mentions her dad. So I guess a lot of people look at it as, well, Zelda's mom isn't mentioned and Link's dad isn't mentioned. So like, there might be the chance. So I can see why people think that, but I still think it's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I'd like to break down why both of these theories are absolutely stupid. Okay, let's start with this one. So
cue the hate comments.
Yes, people get ready to hate me more. They've already called me names in the last one. They already said I'm a sadistic bastard. So
that's a compliment.
Just bring it on.
Wait, no, what was that for?
Oh shoot! What? Why did they call me sadistic before? Someone comment below why.
Was it with Nate or?
Yeah. I made a joke about something.
Okay.
They called me sadistic. Anyway, so if Link and Zelda are siblings, right? At the beginning, the reason that Link was left the Deku Tree was because his mother was fleeing the destructive nature of the war. Okay. So that would make no sense if the mother was the queen, because she probably wouldn't be somewhere in the war that was affected by it. She would probably be in the castle. And if she were to abandon Link because of that, why would she abandon just one of her children to a tree and not the other one?
It was her favorite.
I kind of like that.
Like, why just Link? Like, why not both then? Or just leave Link at the castle if she's going out to the war for some reason? Or like why? No, it doesn't make sense. And the other theory, if Ganondorf is Link's father, they're not even the same race. Link is a Hylian, Ganondorf is a Gerudo, and that would make Link, if Ganondorf was Link's father, that would make Link Gerudo.
There's the rumor
only one
that
Gerudo.
Well, wouldn't it be like half though? He would be half Gerudo. Yeah, his mother.
Sure, but the thing with the Gerudo, the Gerudos are weird. Okay, they're an entirely female race with only one male specimen born every 100 years, supposedly. That's the lore.
Right.
I think like Link would be like 2 feet taller. If Ganondorf was his dad.
Link's like 5'5". I think Ganondorf's like 7 feet tall, something like that. He's
Ganon's 7 feet. Jeez.
Yeah, it's in Hyrule Story.
Ganondorf's supposed to be like really tall.
He's a tall guy. But the thing is, like, the Gerudo, they all have very defined characteristics. They all have red hair, yellow eyes, usually tanned skin. But then in Breath of the Wild, you see sort of more diversity. But they're not. With Hylians, they also have more defined traits where they they have the longer pointed ears. Sometimes Gerudo.
He has a pointed nose. He has a pointed nose.
Yeah. So, anyways, the point is that that would be like saying, is Daruk Mifa's uncle?
We not?
Who knows? No, they're not the same race. Daruk is a Goron.
See,
Mifa is a Sora. There is not.
There is the theory that Malon from Lon Lon Ranch, or Malon, however you want to pronounce her name, that she is part Gerudo, because there's like the thing, like she has the red hair, and then there's the comment that her dad makes when you wear the Gerudo mask, and he says you look like her mother. So there is that theory, and then it continues with, like, there's another theory that Milan and Link end up getting together, because we know Link from Ocarina of Time is like the great whatever grandfather of Link from Twilight Princess. So
Right.
if we don't know
So
who
if anything, Ganondorf is his maybe possibly father-in-law.
well, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say like
Maybe it's grandfather-in-law.
well, like what I was getting at is that if the theory of, like, if those two theories are true, that Link does end up marrying Malon, because we know he has to have a family with someone, and he only has like 3 potential love interests in Ocarina
One
of
of
Time.
them being a Zora.
Yeah, one of them being
One
a
of them's
fish.
a fish.
So
It's fine, guys. Shut up. I love Ruto and Link together. I love Ruto so much.
Okay,
so
but they can't have children.
all right.
She lays eggs.
So there is Princess Zelda, and then there is Malon.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Zora mask.
Oh.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. I'm getting
So
This
heated
is
now.
great.
Yeah.
This is great.
So we have Princess Zelda, but then Link in Twilight Princess, he grows up to be a farmhand, and if he got together with Zelda, you would imagine Link in Twilight Princess growing up to be a prince. So where he grows up to be a farmhand and working on the ranch, the only thing that really ties into that is if he has his relationship with Malon, which Malon's father tries to pursue with you. So, like, there is that connection. So if those two theories turn out to be true, then that would mean that Link and Twilight Princess would be part Gerudo. But as for Link in Ocarina of Time being Ganondorf's son, I think is just nonsense.
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Because it's like, if he
he's
had
not
one
Gerudo.
son, I imagine he would have like 100 others. Because it's
so
like,
he's like Genghis Khan?
well, he's like,
Yeah, so
The only-
spreading that seed.
well, like there's all of the Gerudo women, and it's like, if he's the king and they're all like the warriors or whatever, like, I don't know how their relationships work in Ocarina of Time, but
I do know that they go into Hyrule and steal men to procreate. I was like, that's pretty adult for Zelda. When I first found that out, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
Dang.
but I don't think Ganondorf went into Hyrule to find women to have a child.
No.
You know? No, I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think that happened.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
so
I
both.
will do that.
I'm going to say both theories are nonsense, but which one is
They're both
worse?
bad. They both kind of make no sense.
I
so
can't-
this
I
is
would say
tough.
Ganon being Link's dad, because I think that would be in the story of the game if it was. Like, you would get somewhere close to the end, and then Ganondorf would say something like, "I knew you would be a problem when you were born," or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't, like, there would have been like some throwaway
Or-
line connecting it.
Join me, and together we will rule
Right?
Hyrule as father and son.
Yeah,
Hey,
it
actually,
almost
that could've
sounded
been
like a
cool.
Vegeta voice.
Oh damn! I was really gunning for Darth Vader.
Oh,
I'm not James Earl Jones, so.
all right. Pick our next question, Daniel.
Okay. I like Retro. My good friend Retro. He's in my Splatoon squad. He asked
Hey.
if you could choose any Zelda game to remake or make changes to that includes updated models or sprites and an engine overhaul that you could choose to do. Which Zelda game would you remake or make changes to?
I would want.
Choose the right decision, dude.
I would want
Yep.
Majora's Mask and like the
Good job.
the way that the Zelda Wii U tech demo, where it showed Link walking in to face the giant spider. I would want it looking like that, but with Child Link, like in that art style, but with Majora's Mask.
Okay.
So, or like,
Have you guys seen that No, have you guys seen that I'm telling you, that fan remake, that fan HD remake?
The intro
Majora's
where
Mask.
it shows.
I mean, they did a like you could see, yes, where it's decooling and he has like, it's so like, give me that. That is what I want. That is what I want.
See, that looked really good, but when I seen it,
whatever engine you use to produce that, that's what I want.
Yeah, when I seen that, I was like, it looks really good, but it looks too good for the Wii U. Like, there's no way the Wii U could be able to do that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, you should look up, there was a fan film that I think you would really like that was about Majora's Mask. It was like, I can't remember what it was, I think it was called Terrible Fate.
Is it realistic?
Which is like super realistic.
Yeah,
and it's about like the backstory where he's like, he like finds the mask. If you've seen it, you wouldn't forget it if you've seen it. It's super good. It's like Hollywood quality. Like, it's good. Watch it. Anyways, let's give us a shout out there. I'll find you a link after this podcast is over, and I'll send it to you. But,
please.
What's your choice, Pelvic? But you can't say Majora's Mask now that Jesse said it. I know that would clearly be your pick, but
are you serious? You just robbed me.
That. Jesse, he took it from you, not me.
Really quick,
Thanks,
Mark in the chat says, "Please let Nate come on again. He and you are my favorite YouTubers. Lady Pelvic, you're great too." But ... favorite YouTuber. And then Retro says, "Hello, Pelvic." And then a few other people commented saying that they liked you as well. So there's been a few people that I've seen that commented saying that they were a fan of yours. So
thank you so much. Sorry, I wasn't in the chat in the beginning. I had internet issues, so I was trying to like minimize everything that's going on, so just focus on the podcast. But I'm back. My internet seems to be like behaving, so I'm like, all right, I'm in the chat now. What's up?
All right, so you asked her to pick a game besides Majora's Mask?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because you robbed me. Thank you for
stole
that.
her answer.
Okay, so if she wants to pick that, I want a real remake, not just an HD port of Skyward Sword, but on this remake, add in like an actual overworld for Hyrule. So it's not just you flying over Hyrule Field and going to the Lineru province, Elden province, like have it like a huge connecting world underneath, like remove all of the clouds and let you see what Hyrule Field looks like in Skyward Sword. So that would be what I would choose. And then it could be any art style. Like the Skyward Sword art style worked for that game, so just like a HD version of that. And yeah, so like I would want an actual, like, not just bringing the game into HD, like actually remake the game and add in the overworld. That's what I would want. Like it could be as empty as Ocarina of Time's overworld, to where it's literally just Lon Lon Ranch in the middle and nothing else. Like there's one guy that runs in a big circle.
There's pose. Come on, man.
I would agree with that, because that was probably my biggest issue with Skyward Sword. Is I really didn't like the world. I really did not like how the overworld was. That was my biggest issue. It limited the game so much. That was one of my biggest issues. Plus the motion controls are kind of wiggity whack. But yeah, that's pretty good. But I would probably say if I can get another remake. Well, I guess Wind Waker already happened, because that would be my next one, just because it's my favorite game. But or if they like expanded on Minish Cap, that would be fun. I loved Minish Cap with a passion. Or actually, you know what? Link's Awakening would be really cool if they did like a whole like HD remake of that. Link's Awakening would be bomb if they did that. Like just fleshed out the island, the characters, like being able to go a little bit in the ocean, you know, not too far out, but like seeing the first time was like the dream fish, dream whale, sleeping whale, whale of fishing dreams. I don't know, but that thing, wow! I was just on some other level right there. But yes, with fish, I think it would be awesome. So actually I'm gonna go with that one. Since you took Majora's Mask, that will be my. I'm gonna Awakening. That game deserves it.
Good answer. I'm gonna pick The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, the first.
The OG Zelda, just because it's playing it now. I've mentioned before, I really want a Zelda 1 and 2 bundle to like come out and have like a sweet remake. has maybe like the same art style as like Octopath Traveler, because that game looks like
Woo!
the bomb. Like just great art style. And you know, it's a game that you know, it's laid the foundation for the series. Maybe not in the same way that I think A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time really like put in the structure. But if Zelda were a house, I'd say like Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past are like the frame of the house. You know, that's your framework. But Zelda 1 really laid down that cement, that foundation that everything was built on, right? So there's your analogy for the day, folks. And so yeah, it's a game that like a lot of Zelda fans, myself included, I replayed like all the Zelda games, and I've played those two like once, and that's it.
I keep yawning for some reason. I apologize.
Am I boring you, Jesse?
Damn.
Jesse.
No.
Damn, you boring yourself.
No.
No.
You don't give a shit about your
Oh.
analogies and your framework and your foundation.
Oh. Your words sting. No, but no, I think it'd be really cool because I think it would bring the game, you know, start like the two games I think that started it all really to the modern audiences. There's a lot of kids, you know, that like I was born after those games came out. I only played them because I'm super into Zelda, but a lot of people who maybe aren't as into it as I am never got the chance to, or just never bothered to, or it was too hard and they just gave up. So, you know, just let's remake those games, put in that sweet Octopath Traveler art style, add a freaking functional map to Zelda 1 especially, because it really needs it. And then we'd be set. Like, it'd be a golden release. Like, it'd just be super good. I don't mean golden release just because they came on gold cartridges, but if they made them on gold cartridges, that would be really good too. So yeah, that's my pick.
I would really like to see it. Like, really, if they actually remade any of the Zelda games to, like, similar to what they did with Wind Waker, to where they cut the Triforce quest, so like you don't have to do as much of it. I think that really helped out the game. So if they remade any of the older Zelda games,
and with the tears in the Twilight,
so like if they do something to improve the actual gameplay, like that would be really cool. They added the fishing, like 2 fishing ponds to Majora's Mask. Like that was cool, I guess, if you like fishing.
I mean, that was not really what I was hoping. they put in fishing, but they took out the good Zora swimming, so...
Yeah. So our next question comes from Duo Master, who says, King Burgerson, is Yoshi a dog? Nah, screw it. Actual question. Isn't that from one of the live streams? Everybody was saying that Yoshi was a dog in the chat.
Yes, that's why they called me sadistic, because I got real mad about that.
there was a dozen people in the live chat arguing that Yoshi was a dog, not a dinosaur. So, trying to troll on Daniel.
Why does Mario hit his dog?
Oh my god, no, he's a dinosaur.
All right,
he's a dinosaur, guys.
He's a
very hungry dinosaur.
Actual question. Any super obscure game you would like to see on the Switch at some point? Not really a massive question, but if you need filler, there you go. I don't think it's filler, but an obscure game I would like to see on Switch would be... I would like to see something like Overwatch, like one of the games that a lot of people are playing. It's really popular on Twitch. To have a game...
But
no, it's not obscure, but it's like... It's something that isn't... Like, no one really thinks is coming to the Switch, so it's like I can't think of any thing that would be obscure. Like
if they brought back like some old, if they brought back like, oh, sorry, we both started talking at the same time. I'm thinking like if they brought back, I don't know, Golden Sun isn't really obscure. Or the old Tales of game, like Tales of Destiny. I guess that's not obscure, but I just feel like it'd be a shock. You know what I mean? I'd be like, holy, what the freak? Like,
I know a lot of people were also like, they really want Golden Sun. Yeah, just another one. They just want Nintendo to throw them a bone and give them Golden Sun.
Persona would be cool.
Yeah.
I think
Here's
of
a.
the obscure game, but go ahead. Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of Majesty?
It's obscure. I've never heard
Damn.
of it.
All right, I got one. I don't know if it's actually obscure, but it was a game that I used to play way back when. It was a PC game, and it was sort of like an RTS game. You know, along the same lines of like Warcraft. Except what was neat about it was that you couldn't like select your units and actually command them. You had to like work within the system to like give them incentive to actually do it. So if like the morale was good enough, they would just automatically defend the town if monsters came up, or you could put a bounty on an enemy. Ooh. And if the units were feeling motivated enough, they would actually go and do it. But if they didn't like you, if you were like being a bad leader,
an interesting
they wouldn't
concept.
do it. Yeah, so and it was a really cool. That was a really cool mechanic, because then in other RTSs, you just you drag your box, you put all your units, and you just tell them what to do, and they'll do it to the T, right? So for this, like all the units had their own AI, and they would level up independently on their own, so they all had their own leveling up and abilities that they could learn and stuff. So it was almost like if you were the mod and you had all these AI players in your MMO, and you were trying to get them to do the quest, but you had to give them incentive, and you had to make sure that they were into it enough to do it. And yeah, it was a really cool game, and I haven't played it in like years and years and years. I don't know. It was I had it on this old computer. I want to see if I can find what. I'm just gonna see what year it came out. There was a sequel to it that was not as well received. That I think they were trying up to. Oh, it came out the year 2000, the distant future. so damn, this game's like 18 years old now. But just look at Majesty. It's called Majesty, the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. And that just tells you what year it came out there. But no, it was a really fun game. It was really cool. I'd love to see them come up with maybe a new one that didn't suck, and it was I don't know. It's just unique. So,
all right,
I was just trying to pull whatever obscure game I could.
I think I found my obscure game. On the Super Nintendo, there's a really awesome game. I used to have. Like, when I was a kid, I had A Link to the Past, but I think I let one of my cousins borrow it, and I never got it back. So, one of the games that I played, one of the games that I played, that I thought was similar at the time to A Link to the Past was Illusion of Gaia, and
I've heard of that.
It was a really cool RPG on the Super Nintendo. It says. It's in the Soul Blazer series, which I've never heard of Soul Blazer, but it was published by Square Enix and Nintendo. So, yeah, like it was like just a cool adventure game, sort of like an adventure take on the older Final Fantasy games, which I think that's what Secret of Mana was supposed to be as well. Just like an adventure take on Final Fantasy. But
Illusion of Gaia, 1993 it came out. So it came out the same year as A Link to the Past as well.
What? I thought...
Yeah. 1993.
I thought A Link to the Past came out in 89.
89? No.
No?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's 90. It was either 92 or 93. Hold on. Oh, sorry, 91. Oh no. I'm a failure.
What came out?
Failure.
Oh, well.
No.
91.
You'd think I'd know this because A Link to the Past is the first video game I ever played.
That was the year I was born.
Oh.
Me too.
So what is your obscure game, Pelvic?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's so odd.
You guys like
much.
Illusion of Gaia.
Like, I'm looking at games and I'm like, I don't know what, because I think of a game that I would like to be remade that hasn't seen the light of day in a while. It was like Phantasy Star 4. If they brought back Phantasy Star, it'd make me so happy. I'd cry tears of
Phantasy
joy.
Star?
That's not like obscure.
They had that huge keyboard on the GameCube. Did you see that keyboard? It was crazy. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, that was a fun question.
That's a rough question. It was. I agree.
All right. Our last question. We'll get one more question in. But everybody, while we answer this question, everyone that's watching live, type in your questions on the live stream. And
we'll do a lightning round.